And joining me now from Oxford is senior researcher at human rights organisation Article 19, Mahsa Amini. Mahsa, thanks a lot for talking to us this afternoon. So these marches in London, Berlin and Washington, but what is the situation like in Iran itself? Are protests still going on there?
Yes, thanks for having me. Protests are ongoing. It's a bit unprecedented, the continuation we're seeing in terms of the continuation of protests, in terms of the brutality they're facing. Yesterday, we saw these incredible scenes from Zahedan in Sistan and Baluchistan, a province, known for an ethnic minority, the Baluchis that are known for repression. End of September, there was a massacre. A really in-depth report came out yesterday that tried to document to the extent that it could throughout the internet shutdowns and limitations, and 94 people died. And yesterday, the city again came out in protest saying, from Zahedan to Tehran, we will stand for Iran. And so there were protests all over Iran yesterday, Tehran, Mahabad, Esfahan, Zahedan. So there's this incredible, perseverance. And, I was looking at one particular civil rights activist, Atina Daemi. She has been tweeting from on the ground in Tehran, and she just tweeted, we will not stand down. People are still protesting, and the protests are expected throughout today. There's supposed to be strikes in schools throughout Monday and Tuesday. And of course, the school guilds are striking because of the unprecedented attack on school children. Amnesty has documented over 23 children. There's likely more that have been killed by security forces since the beginning of these protests. So the unprecedented brutality is not... people are not stopping from protesting, and we're expecting more internet disruptions. Already, there's difficulty reaching folks inside Iran, but there are the pockets of connectivity, and we are seeing footage come out. And again, yesterday in Zahedan, there was some incredible footage. Over 54 people ended up being arrested. There's no research or reporting on the death tolls. Of course, that's very difficult given so many different limitations in terms of pressure on victims. And lack of access to the internet. Of course, traditional media is not able to report on any of these aspects. So that's
Mahsa, is restricting access to online platforms like Twitter, like Instagram, like Telegram, is that something the regime is doing this time around?
Absolutely. The last time we saw something in terms of brutality and protests was November 2019, and there was about a week of a near total internet shutdown. We have not seen this kind of near total internet shutdown. We have been seeing very kind of surgical shutdowns in certain areas. Lots of shutdowns in Sistan and Baluchistan, where we've been seeing some of the deepest repression. Obviously, from the very beginning of the protests, they came out and censored all available, foreign social media that had not been censored yet, like Instagram and WhatsApp. And they have been attacking virtual private networks, which are used to circumvent the censorship. And so finding VPNs to connect, or being able to even find connection, because we're, of course, been seeing mobile curfews since the beginning of these protests, where from about 4 p.m. to about 1 or 2 a.m., they shut down mobile internet connections. And of course, the average Iranian connects to the internet through mobile data and smartphones. So this is extremely destabilizing for connecting. But of course, we're seeing tons of footage. We're seeing, the Mahsa Amini hashtag in Persian. It's become a historic hashtag with actual activity from inside Iran. So people are finding connections, although it is unstable.
Since Mahsa Amini died, a lot of high-profile people around the world have shown their support online. A lot of women cutting their hair. But within Iran, are they able to, and have they been showing their support, specifically high-profile people within the country?
It's very difficult. We've had a number of celebrities, football players who have taken stands. Some of them, had to flee, and they've had their properties confiscated. We've had Elnaz Rakabi, who took a stand abroad during the rock climbing competitions in Seoul. She's now under house arrest. I think the world saw the images of people flocking to the airport to welcome her after knowing, the pressure that the authorities placed on her after her act of civil disobedience. So if people are taking stands, it's met with a lot of pressure in various forms. Elnaz Rakibi's family's home, for example, is now kind of being held hostage
Where is she?
by the authorities. Sorry?
Where is Elnaz?
So Elnaz is now under house arrest in her family's home. She's back in Iran. She's, in a smaller city outside of the main city center. She's not in Tehran, and she's under house arrest. Is the latest news we got. And about her family's home, which is worth about $350,000 is now kind of under hostage, depending on what she does. She did post on Instagram very vaguely thanking everyone for their support, but nothing further political.
Okay, Mahsa, thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon.